Today I show you what you need to do in oil change. This is the first oil change I do to the Kayo K4. And first let's go into the gear you will need for that if you're down to videos, if you only do oil change. So you need a canister to catch the oil when it comes out of the engine. I have this big one from my car and I recommend to put something underneath it. If you spill something, you have a towel or something to catch it. Then you need something to put in the old oil because you would like to give it to a good place to recycle it and not into nature, right? And of course you need some hardware and software. Let's say you need oil. It's 5W40 and in this case it is an oil with the number SNCF. The manufacturer recommends SJ, so the higher the letter, the newer the level of oil, let's say. So the J was in the beginning, now we reached already N. If you take something that is a smaller number than J, for example an F, it will be more for older cars than for newer cars or bikes in this case. So you need 1 liter of this, which I filled into this bottle because then we can compare old and new before I put in the new one. You need a funnel to fill it in and something to stop the funnel from dropping. Gloves make sense, and you need a 17, either a nut or a ring, but I recommend a nut. And then what you have to do before you do the oil changes, you have to warm up the bike. So since this is a wet clutch, I drove it through all the gears to warm it up. I didn't just let it idle because I wanted to have the hot oil everywhere, let's say. If you have a stand for your bike, it's good if it has a hole in the middle. Mine does not. Mine is solid. Maybe I make one day, but it doesn't. So in this case, I'm gonna open the nut and then I'm gonna put the bike vertically equally so that all the oil can run out. Before we do that, I take on my gloves and then I would like to open the dipstick so that if the oil is running out, it can breathe fresh air and just let it all out. So we put this canister under it because we want to have a look at the used oil and compare it with the new one. So what we have to do is we have to open this 17, which is to let the oil out. And I'm going to do that now. And then we will catch it. Wow, that was tighter than it should be, I think. So let's open this. There we go, it's running out. Quick. Okay, let me angle the bike a bit to see if there is more oil coming. Okay, so now this is pretty full with 825, and I'm gonna put it over here to let it sit for a while. And I'm gonna catch the rest in this one so that's easy for me and it doesn't fill up all my my oil pan. Yeah, and as I said, you should open your dipstick I didn't because of my container, but now I do. So now it's only dripping, so it should be good. And after I lean it back, it even stopped dripping. So now what you should do is clean your nut, because it could be that there is some debris on the nut, but this looks pretty good. Let's see if it can focus. This looks pretty good, but we clean it. It's clean. And then we're gonna put it back where it belongs. And for tightening, it doesn't have to be too much, just with a good feeling. It will not come out, and even you control it every time, so there will be no spilling or anything. Just put it back and it will be good. Okay, so next we're gonna compare the oils, and then we're gonna refill the bike with fresh oil. So as you can see, the new oil is relatively clear, pure yellow, but the old one is already really black, I have to say. And I only drove 110 kilometers ish in maybe 5 hours. So I would recommend to do the first oil change latest after 5 hours. This on the right, you can ignore, it's like the average speed, so it's like 22, 20, 24. And with this one, I'm only estimating because I didn't let the tracker run all the time. So I guess it was 35 kilometers and 1.5 hours. Might be a little bit more, a little bit less, but average, that fits pretty good. Okay, now we're gonna put back oil into the engine, and we're gonna use this liter of clear, fresh oil. Okay, so 1 liter of fresh engine oil can go in. Of course, you make sure when you fill it in that you clean up your funnel before you do it, and you use a cleaned bottle if you do it with a bottle. And then you can put back the dipstick, which I also cleaned because I don't want to put any old debris. So this goes back in gentle, careful, find the right angle so that you don't break it. And then you can fill the old oil into the container you have for it, or measure the amount so that you know how much it is. I will let it stand for a while to see if some sediment is going down, and then I will put it maybe to some filtering to see if there are any metal parts or anything in it, just to check after the 5 hours. And I will let you know in this video at the end.